I'm here since June of this year.
Oh, great. Nice to hear.
About me.
Great. Thanks for sharing, Sonia. So welcome again. And hello, Arthur. It's our turn, please.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Arthur. I've been talking talk since June, improving my English. And I am 34. I live in Rio Claro, São Paulo. I am a civil engineer, but now I am open to work. I'm finding new jobs, and I like to watch TV, like to watch series, like music. I'm married and I have a kid. And I like to play with my kid too. I like to stay and talk with my wife, and that's it.
All right. Great, Arthur. Thanks for sharing. So, guys, this week we are inviting people from every immersion to join in the talk, the host group. So, if you wanted to become a host, I'll share with you the link. So, you need to apply and wait for someone will contact you in the future. And hope that you can join with us. So, don't be afraid. It's a great experience. So just let me get the link. 1 second. And feel free to apply. I've been a host here since this March this year, so it's great to improve your communication and your network as well. So it's nice to see the community growing a lot. So let's see. 1 second, because my WhatsApp crashed. Yeah, I cannot take the link now, but I will share with you a few minutes. So let's start to the questions. So guys, do you want to read? I don't know if you like to read and answer, or I can read and you're answering. So what do you think? Because some people like to practice the reading, speaking out loud, but some people not. So feel free to decide if you like it or not. So don't be pressured. So I will ask you, Sonia, if it's okay to start reading or you don't want to. It's okay? Great. So let it go.
Okay. How do you define the idea of learning English from absolute zero? And what steps or strategies would you recommend to someone starting this journey? I can define the idea of learning English or another language from absolute zero is when you don't know anything about the language. And I think in English it's not my case because I learned English when I was child, and for me it's difficult to think about start from zero. But I can do the example, and now I want to study French. I need to study French because I need a passport, and I have to do an interview, and I don't know anything about the language, and the steps that I am starting to do are learn about the basic words of French. It's the quality to verb to be in English. I think it's similar. And this is my step for now. But in English, it's difficult imagine start from absolute zero because it's not my case. I don't know. I don't have any advice or something to recommend to someone who are learning from zero.
Okay, no problem. But thanks for sharing your experience, because never is easy. I'd say every language that you are starting, so we are getting struggling with the new language and the new structures. So yeah, I would say the advice that I could do is start as soon as possible. If you are a kid, so it's the best way to start because you can observe many things. Because I started to learn English as adult when I was 25 years old, so it was crazy because I needed to study and to work in at the same time. So I didn't put in many efforts because I didn't have time enough to do that. But yeah, I'm still learning, and if I could give you any advice, it'd be start as soon as possible. And Arthur, how about you?
Well, I define learning English from absolute zero. It's English and other language too. I define that's very amazing and funny because English, okay, like Sonia said, is not my case too. But now I am trying to learn Italian. So Italian, I am starting from zero, and it's very funny because you try to find some similar I don't know, similar things like you speak in Portuguese and English, the verbs, the questions, the numbers. So when you know how to speak in English, you know the verbs, the way that you have to ask something, and I use this in the I am using in the Italian too. So it's a big challenge, but I am enjoying the idea. And what steps or strategies? Yeah, I recommended that the beginning of the process. I think that it's more easy understand to the structures of the language. So how you ask something, how you count like numbers, it's important too. And short phrases. I don't know the. So like my name is Arthur. In Italian, io sono Arthur. So it's a difference, but short but important words. So I think that's start to this.
Great, great. And do you also take immersions in Italian here on Talk and Talk or not
No,
yet?
not yet. I don't have courage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you because I'm trying to start Spanish or Italian as well,
Uh-huh.
but I was thinking I need to start through Duolingo or something like this. And
Mhm.
after a month or years, I can start the immersion because I can imagine it's confusing many languages. So yeah,
Yeah,
I feel. But
yeah.
when we have like a beginners class, so it's good to start.
Yeah.
Great, great. Thanks, Arthur. And Marcio, it's our turn.
Okay. Uh, the idea of the you learning from absolute zero, I believe it's not only English but another language too. For me, I believe that is it's difficult. I remember that they have has an opportunity here. Talk and talk. You can choose some uh, language for you learn for 1 month, and I think and chose the French, but I was scared and French chose uh, about the recommendation. I believe that I have some recommendation that I don't practice, for example, because another people practice, but I don't practice. So people, uh, uh, some people told for me that could you change your language for your cell phone? You use your cell phone a lot. And, uh, movies uh, in English with the subtitle English too. And, and I practice every day.
Yeah, I agree totally because, for example, when I started to study English, I took a class just on every Saturday and I didn't study in the other days. So I was feeling that I've never learned because it was just once a week when I realized that I need to use the English because I made the exchange program in Ireland. So I face the many issues because I didn't talk and I couldn't understand people. And since then, I start to study every single day, even if we're listening or trying to speak or reading any kind of thing, but you need to practice for sure. I agree, Maestro. Thanks for sharing. So I will start with you, Maestro. The next one, do you want to read or just answer the next question?
Yes, yes. Have you ever seen someone hit the ground running when learning a new language, and what do you think contributed to their happy progress? Uh, I remember that I did a English course, and after then start the class, I believe that 1 month after the start the class, I have a new student, and this boy speak very well. I asked for him, why not? He told me that he can understand and speak more English, play video game online. I don't play video game, but these people this happen. This works if you can play with the people with the another country. You can improve your English. For example,
Yeah, sounds good. I've I've heard about it, but I've never tried because, for example, like music, I didn't like English music in the past because I couldn't understand anything. And but many people that I met and this journey say, I start to practicing listening some music like the pronounce of them was perfect, because they are trying to sing with the music, so it was really nice. And in my experience, my first teacher, she is American, and she was speaking Portuguese fluently and also Italian. So she has like a good knowledge to learn new languages. I don't know, but I think many people like born with some kinds of feeling, or I don't know. I cannot define, but for me it's really hard. And I was admiring my teacher and also my colleagues who starts with music. So it's interesting. And Sonia, how about you, please?
In my case, I can share the experience of my husband. He speaks 5 languages, and nowadays he speaks a little bit of Guarani too. Guarani is a very difficult language, and it's very difficult to teach Guarani because it's a language that we learn just listening and speaking. It's not writing or reading. But I think, and I watch him learn Italian in, I don't know, maybe in 1 month or less even, because he had to make a travel with a Ferrari company, and he needs to speak Italian too. And the company, the people of the company asked him, "Do you speak Italian?" And he said yes. And he learned. I don't know, maybe in 1 month, but I think that contributed to the rapid progress, to his rapid progress. He has skills for learning another language, because it's a skill too, it's ability that not everybody have. They have, he has, sorry, I I think it depends of the person too, because I watch a lot of person trying to learn another language for years and years, and I don't see improve. And I think depends of the skill that everyone have.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So it's like a skill. Maybe we can grow up with that skill, because it's, for me, personally, it's really hard to learn a new language. But for him, so it was very nice. Congratulations, because it's not easy at all. Nice to hear you. Thanks for sharing. And how about you, Arthur?
Marcio, I have to confess, I have 3 friends that's learning how speaking English, playing video games. And but they play the oldest games like Mario, Super Mario Bros, and Mega Man, because when they are, yeah, and they speak very well. I don't know how, but they when they were playing the game, some the missions that they have to complete are in totally English, so they need to understand to conquist the mission, to
Very
finalizar a
intelligent.
missão. And they started to, and I asked it to them, oh, but why? How do you start it? And they bought a dictionary, English Portuguese dictionary, and they were finding the words and the translation, and they started know English in this way. So and nowadays they speak very well, and I'm trying, and I'm trying. So. Uh, um, well, okay. Have you seen someone hit the ground running? Yeah. Um, my kid, he's trying to learn English, and what's so funny because my mother was doing English in Apple, in an app. I don't know, Duolingo. I don't know what's the name. And my son, he has 4 years, and he liked to see my mom uh, doing the English classes, and he started to do with my mom, and so funny because he have a notebook, and he tried to write the words, but he don't know how to spell. Uh, and we 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 try to I don't know, encorajar, eu não lembro a palavra.
Encourage, I think.
I don't
Similar.
know.
Let me check.
So we try to encourage
To encourage, yes.
him to learn more, but we try to put some musics, the numbers very good. He knows to count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he likes very much.
Amazing. I believe because when I was living in Ireland, I had many friends who had their kids there, so they are speaking Portuguese at home, but at school it's totally English. So for kids, it's impressive because they can catch many information really quickly. So I was shocked with some kids there, Brazilian parents, but growing in another country, so it's much easier, I think. But he is in the good path.
I
Great.
think that the best time to learn another language is childhood,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
your mind is open to I don't know how to say, to receive a lot of information.
yeah.
A friend of mine did a thing that I consider very great idea. He has two girls, and since they was born, he speaks with them only in English. The
Really?
mother speaks in Spanish, and he only in English. And the girls
Yeah.
nowadays, one has 10, and another one has 7, and they speak two languages. speak with
Mm.
with the father, speaks in English, and with the
Mhm.
mother or another person with speaks in Spanish. And they learned German too, because in
Wow.
the college they learned German. But
Wow.
I think it's very well because they are trilingual nowadays. And
Yeah.
it's a good idea.
Yes, I believe because here in the Netherlands, most of people start to study English in a childhood, and they speak English eh, very well. And it's like a native, I'd say. And also they can choose like your French or Germany. So they speak Dutch, English, another language, and some people speak four. So it's crazy. And they speak like a native because they started really young. So I was shocked when I see because in Brazil, unfortunately, we don't have this kind
In
of
Netherlands,
culture.
in
Yeah,
Netherlands, yeah.
yeah. Someone says that 93% of the population could speak English very well. So imagine it. It's incredible. But I totally agree with you, Sonia. Thanks for sharing, guys. So let's see. Arthur. So do you want to read the next one?
Yeah, sure.
It's okay. Let's go.
Can you share a personal experience or story of language learners who might have initially felt like slow learners, but eventually achieved fluency? Um, I think my brother, my oldest brother, it's my personal experience because nowadays he lives in England, but before he moved, he doesn't know how to speak English very well, and he moved with not with the idea to live in England, and but only know how to speak English. So, but he moved and he liked the England and he moved to England definitively. And but my brother, I think that's my oldest brother doesn't. His English was very not so good, uh, but now very very good English. And so this is my personal experience. And now I am trying to speak English with him.
Oh,
uh,
amazing. Good
yeah.
experience. Yeah, I'm here to think about me because I'm personally speaking had this challenge when I went to Dublin, Ireland, 5 years ago, just to learn English. So I started like a beginner, A0, and after 6 months, I could achieve B1 because it was immersion. So it was every day 4 hours at school, and beside of that, the job because I was working a hotel at the time. And when I returned to Brazil for 3 years, I forgot many things. So it's crazy. But when you are immersion in some situations, so it's easier for me even if I learned another thing beside of English, so I need to focus on it and just do that to be immersion because I'm consider myself a slow learner. But if I focus on it, so it's good. But if I not focus, it takes time for sure. And in the past, I've never imagined working here abroad, for example. I'm still learning English. My English is not perfect at all, and I'm still trying to learn, but I'm involved on my job and speak every day, so it's easier. Because if I was waiting for the perfect English, probably I was in Brazil until nowadays. So it's crazy life, but it worked for me. It's worked with our brother Arthur. So Sonia, Arthur, do you want to say something? No?
Oh, no, that's okay.
Okay, fine. Sonia, let's go.
I can talk about my experience learning Portuguese because when I met my husband, I didn't speak Portuguese. But in Paraguay, yeah, I think it's easier for us because everybody knows a little bit about Portuguese, and we try to speak Portuguese. Always said, I always mention it. Paraguayan people likes very much Brazilian people. I don't know why, but it happens. It is a real thing, and everybody tries to talk to speak a little Portuguese. But in my case, when I met my husband, I thought I speak with him in Spanish, obviously. But when I met my mother-in-law, they don't. She doesn't speak Spanish. She only speak Portuguese. And for me, it's difficult to talk with other person that speak another language. I don't know why. I try to repeat the same language, and I learned a lot with her. Of course, I start to read something, and I try to practice with my husband, but I have a defect. Uh, I I am very perfectionist. I don't like to make mistake. I don't consider me a slow learner, but I am very perfectionist, and it's not good to learn anything because make mistakes is part of learning. If you don't make mistake, you won't learn anything, not only a language. And nowadays, I make mistakes in Portuguese, a lot of mistakes. I have an accent different, especially since my mother-in-law moved to São Paulo, so I don't speak Portuguese every day. I have a sotaque muito marcado. But I think I can communicate me with other person in Portuguese. And I was afraid when I was to start here in Talk and Talk because it's a platform Portuguese English, it's not Spanish English. And I thought maybe it's not good for me because I'm not native in Portuguese. But nowadays, I don't perceive the difference. If I have to talk another language in the immersions, I talk automatically in Portuguese. And my English is good, is better now since June. And I train my Portuguese too.
Wow, yeah, I would say about it because we can try to listening in Portuguese and also speak Spanish beside of that. It's great idea. And maybe if you want to become a host, so you can lead the immersions on Spanish also. So if you have time, so it's good to making like help the people because some people ask me, do you have like a native English in immersion? So unfortunately, you don't have. So, but you have in Spanish. So it's a great idea, and also good to hear about you because Portuguese in my opinion, for who don't know Portuguese, it's hard to understand and to learn. So it's not easy like English, I'd say. So we are going great. Thanks for sharing, Sonia. And Marcio, how about you?
I believe that I don't have experience about the slow learner that acquire fluency. But I like to see here in the Talking Town some students that today is a host. It's very cool. You
Yeah.
see the tools that the method works.
Definitely.
Yeah,
When I was like just a talker, I was seeing many people become a host,
become
and
a
when
host.
I was invited, my English was not perfect, so no, I impossible to do that. And Felipe and Bruna at the time, no, you can go. It's good for you. So and I agree. So because we need to understand more and listen more, pay attention what people are saying. So it's good to practice many kinds of skills. It's not just about English,
Yeah, I remember some 3 or 4 students that today are
Yeah,
hosts here in Talking
yeah,
Town.
there are a lot
Yeah.
indeed. It's good and hope to see you guys soon with us. Okay. Mars, do you want to add something about it? No?
No, about number 3,
Okay.
that's
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So I skip
Bruna,
for now. Mm,
I have a question. Have you tried to
sure.
learn how the native language in Netherlands?
No, not yet. Not yet.
It's very different and difficult too.
Yeah. I'd say it looks Germany. So for me, Germany and Dutch, it's really hard. They pronounce it, they like many words. So I can't understand anything. But when I read or listen to something on TV or ads on YouTube, so it looks similar to English,
Mhm.
the words, the way to say, for example, welcome. They have welcome, excluding the E in the end. So there are many similar words with English, but when you are need to pronounce, so it's totally different. So I
what
don't wanna to study.
what we say about the many words. Huh? I remember
Mhm.
a meme that the people speak in Portuguese, Spanish, and English and German. The last in German is
Yeah,
the
it's totally different. Yeah, agree. So I have
exact
some friends like starting to learn, but for me nowadays I'm focused just on English. Maybe in the future, if I will live here for I don't know, more than 5 years, probably, but it's not the point right now. So I don't want to. I'm just struggling with English, and that's okay. And probably I'll start next year Spanish or Italian. I'm trying
Yeah.
to choose just one, maybe Spanish, because I can see here many people talk Spanish in
No.
Europe in
Yeah.
general. Yeah, many
I
people.
think that Spanish and French
Yeah,
more
also
common.
French. Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. That's true. That's true. Yeah, I used to see. I think I'd say Spanish after English and after Spanish, French for sure.
ah,
Yeah, in here in Ireland as well. But I think
mhm.
in UK, most people speak French as a second language, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not sure.
You have to learn the Spanish. I don't know how to say in English. Neutro.
Hmm. Neutro.
Español neutro.
Because you don't
Because
have a difference between Europe and
yeah,
Latin America.
for instance, Spanish from Spain is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely different of the Spanish that I speak, that we speak it now.
Really?
And
Wow.
Argentina Spanish is totally different
No way.
because it's not the neutral. It's not the Spanish neutral. You have to learn the Spanish neutral because you learn, if you learn the Spanish from Spain or from Argentina, you are not
It's different.
talking Spanish.
Oh my
I don't know
gosh,
how
I
to say.
didn't know. I didn't know about it.
It's a tip that I give to you.
Oh my gosh, it's complicated because I was
It's
imagining
complicated.
something like Portuguese in Portugal or Portuguese that are similar words, many of words similar. We can talk and understand each other, but for sure there are many words with the opposite meaning, but you can talk. But I don't know if you talk, for example, with a Spanish people, you have many problems to understand, or not so much.
For me, no. For not for the people that are
No
native in
native.
Spanish, it's not
Okay.
it's not very difficult. Maybe
Okay.
From Spain, Spanish from Spain, that is Castellano. It's more
It's
difficult because, for example, in Barcelona, they mix Spanish with Catalan. My
Yes.
husband said when he has 18, he goes to Barcelona and he works in a bar and he was learning Spanish and he was learning Catalan, now Spanish. And
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
When I went to Spain, I saw many words different pronounced and the words.
Many words difference, and they use to for say you, and we in Paraguay use vos to say you.
Oh my
For
God.
example, we had a lot of difference.
Oh, Jesus, but sounds good. I don't know, but probably I will start here on Talk and Talk in the future. We have a beginner class for Spanish, so it's probably from Latin America. I prefer because when I return to Brazil one day, it's easier to understand our neighborhoods, I'd say. But thanks for sharing, son. I didn't know about it. Thank you. So let's see, guys. I will choose a random question here. I will skip for number 6. Are there specific techniques or resources you do recommend for individuals who are starting their English language, or we can say about any language, journey with little or no prior knowledge? Marcio, let's start with you. Question number 6.
Yeah, I believe that I talked about this in the first question. But, I believe that if you can practice every single day, is good for you improve your English. If you try to watch movie in English, which is subtitled in English too, and I believe that a possibility that you have a conversation, talking with another people, that is important too. And if you can, sometimes if you can participate of the meeting for the speech, I believe that you help me a lot too.
Yes, sorry, I totally agree. Yeah, we already mentioned like immersions here on Talk and Talk, really helpful, and reading every day. I don't know, we can find any kind of situation or tools or whatever to try to study regularly, I would say. Thanks, Marcio. So, Arthur, Do you recommend something specific beside of that?
Totally agree with Marshall. I think that music is a good way um, to understand and to be more familiar with the language, I think. And music, series, movies, some YouTube videos. I think that in YouTube we have a lot of people with trying to explain English and with tips too. Uh, some sorry about the noise. Some cartoons too, I think, because they have they have a easy language, easy and short language. I think that's very important too.
Yeah, I agree. When I started to study English, I was watching many cartoons with subtitles, and after a month without subtitle, it was really helpful because simple vocabulary or daily base routine. So it was really helpful. I agree. Thanks for sharing, Arthur. And Sonia, do you have something to add?
Yes, in my case, practicing as much as you can. Well, since I start here in Talk and Talk, I start with the immersion for beginners, and I study the courses of this website too. I use all the materials to study, and I schedule 2 or 3 immersions a day. Yeah, I do at least 2 immersions a day, and I use Duolingo. It helps me to maybe it's naive for someone, but it helps. And I agree with Arthur. Listening music helps a lot, because if you like a music, you want to know that the lyrics said, and it's a good way to learn. And another resources that I use is practicing with my husband and talk at least a little time every day with him. And I watch series. I need subtitles. I still need subtitles, but I will start to change the subtitles in English, and I to train my listening too. And another thing that I do, since I am here in Talk and Talk, is reading. I'm not ready to read a book. My husband and the other host says, yes, you are ready, but I don't think so. And so I try to read articles or something about my profession. And it is good for me because it's interesting, and I want to know more about my profession, and it is good for me. And I read a lot in LinkedIn or in Facebook with other colleagues from other countries wrote in English. And I use all the materials. With the technology, we have a lot of materials, and it's good to, I don't know how to say it in English, aproveitar. Tudo.
Yeah, that's the key, I'd say, because you're like immersion on it. Everything that you try to do, we are seeing the language. So it's the key, in my opinion. It works a lot.
Yes.
And
Yes.
even for me, I am with you. I've never read the book yet because I think as thoughts and prefer to follow some people on Instagram or LinkedIn or start with some article as well. So it's helping, but I need to force myself. I know that I need to force myself to read some books. But yeah, I think we are on the good the good path, I'd say. But yeah, to be immersion and try to read emails, many emails in English and many things. But yeah, that's the way. Thanks for sharing, Sonia. So I have a question for you, just for curiosity. Do you have many contacts with English speakers in your country, or not too much, Sonia?
With English, what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, English speakers in person, or you cannot see many people speaking English in your country
Now,
every day.
no, nowadays, just the daughters of my friend that I mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would like to, for example, spend time with them and
Mm-hmm.
just talk in English with them.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I told the little girl, you are my
Mm-hmm.
official teacher of English.
Nice.
She's
Yeah.
happy, and it helps me a lot because I can practice it more.
Sure.
Because here in Paraguay, it's not normal speaking English. We speak
Yeah.
Spanish or Guarani or both. We mixed Spanish and Guarani, really.
Yeah, I can imagine it because in Brazil you have the same problem, I'd say, because you cannot see many gringos everywhere, unfortunately. But yeah, if you had a chance, for sure, it's really helpful. Thank you, Sonia. And you, Arthur, did you have many contacts with native speakers or not yet? How about your experience?
My experience is with my sister-in-law, cunhada.
Ah, I see. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
So
Nice.
she's native she's born in English in England,
Mm-hmm.
and
Great.
my contact.
Great. So how was it? Good? Nervous?
Yeah, very nervous when I try
Yeah, I
to
can imagine.
speak some accents, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
And she speaks very fast. I can imagine.
Yeah, sometimes he's very exciting. He's talking
Mhm.
English and oh, okay, stop, try again.
Go slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand totally.
Uh,
But it's good to training for sure.
I have
Thank you.
a question for everyone of you because I talk about with other people that study English in other institutes here in Paraguay, and they say, all of them say, no, it's not good, the methodology without correct your pronunciation, because you learn bad, and
Mm-hmm.
you will talk bad, and it's necessary to correct your pronunciation. What do you think about everyone?
Who want to answer? Marcio? Probably. About the methodology in Brazil, they correct your pronunciation, or how do you
The
feel? Because I feel the
methodology
pressure.
here in Talk and Talk.
Mm-hmm.
But
No, in
this is
talk, not. Go ahead, Marcio.
but you talk about talking or
Yeah,
Yes,
talk and talk.
yes, tocante.
Uh, I believe that here in talk, for me, for example, uh, you can more free to talk with another.
Mhm.
This happened with me after the talking talk.
Yeah.
But the pronunciation, the intonation, or I believe that in the video or movie,
Yeah,
maybe.
we try to don't judge
Yeah.
pronunciation or really respectful place, I'd
Yeah.
say, to be more comfortable. But at school, I think they force ourselves to speak correctly. And I think that's the point that are more, like you said, Sonia, um, about make a mistake. So I feel the same. So I hate to make a mistake. I don't feel comfortable just if I speak perfectly. So we had this culture in Brazil, in my opinion, also. It's terrible because we are afraid. And here in Europe, I cannot see people afraid to speak because they can make a mistake and that's fine. No one's will judge you. So in Brazil, we like the same as a Paraguay. Unfortunately, but
Yes,
guys, we are.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the next meetings. And please go in there to the link and subscribe on the posts. And please give me any comments on the survey as well. And hope to see you again, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
See
you,
you.
bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye
Bye
bye,
bye.
nice
Bye.
to meet you.